In this tutorial, we will learn how to evaluate different sources of information. Your work is only as credible as your sources, so when evaluating whether to trust a source, ask who created this information. Do they have some sort of expertise, knowledge, or reputation that you can trust? Peer-reviewed sources are generally written by those with special knowledge of the subject. When a paper is written, experts in the field evaluate it for accuracy, relevance, and bias to ensure that you can depend on the information. Peer-reviewed articles are the first choice when doing research and can be easily found through our databases. In this database, I can just click the box that says peer-reviewed journals. But many other sources like magazines and newspapers are not peer-reviewed. How do we know if we can trust them? A good way to start is to search for journalism sources in our databases. I can limit my search to newspapers, and I see right away that the database returns well-known, respected journalistic sources. Trustworthy newspapers and magazines use editors and fact-checkers to make sure that their readers can trust their information. What about internet news sources? Make it a habit to be skeptical of what a site says about itself. Check out a site's About page, but don't stop there. Many disreputable internet sources carefully disguise themselves as legitimate, so read what other people have to say about the website. One way to check on the reputation of a news website is to add the word Wikipedia to the address bar at the site's main page. Then hit Enter to go to the Wikipedia page about the site. Wikipedia can be a good first stop for investigating the reputation of journalistic sources and organizations. Wikipedia use for fact-checking is recommended, but use for research is not. So what about social media? Lots of people on social media claim to be experts, but how do we know for sure? One way to check out their credentials is by using Google Scholar. Here's a Twitter thread by someone about how segregationist senators used the filibuster to fight the civil rights movement. When I look at his bio, there is a link that says he is a professor at Princeton University, but is he really a respected expert on race and American history? Let's look him up on Google Scholar. We can see he's written a lot of books and articles on the topic, and has been cited by many other scholars. In addition to knowing a source's reputation, also consider the information's perspective or bias. What is the information's point of view? If you're exploring partisan political attitudes, a partisan source can be credible. But if you are looking at the basic science about an issue, a partisan source is less credible. In addition to investigating the reputation and point of view, we must use our own critical analysis. For example, how do you determine the accuracy of sites that aren't social media or traditional news? You'll have to think about the information, check coverage from other sources, and ultimately decide for yourself. Here are some questions to ask. Are the claims on the site supported by evidence? You can check a site's claims by comparing them with a trustworthy source. Does it include references? If so, we can work on verifying the evidence presented and check the references. This article on a site called Vox.com is about the danger of a new coronavirus infection wave. I can see that its claims are based on evidence and reasoning, and it provides links to the evidence that check out as reliable sources. If you're still not sure, Use a fact-checking website like Snopes.com or factcheck.org. These are good places to determine if a claim is accurate. Even if everything has checked out so far, ask yourself, is this source relevant to my work? Consider when the information was published. If you're researching innovations in cancer treatments, you'll want to find the most recent information. But if you're researching the history of civil rights in the United States, a good essay will also include older classic works. Also, how influential is the creator of this information? Does their work make a significant contribution to the discussion, or are they just someone who wants to express an opinion? And don't forget to ask yourself if the information is directly relevant to the point you want to make. We have seen that evaluating sources for credibility and relevance means asking ourselves 4 key questions. Remember, trustworthy, appropriate sources make your own work credible to your readers.